Okay, in this session we're going to look at the various materials that one can use for a grip on your fishing rod. Traditionalists and from a very early start of fishing rods, cork. Cork comes in various sizes and we'll go back to cork in a moment or two. You have black foam. I will call it Floam. It is known by several different names, EVA, Duplon and the like. Then at the front we have shrink tube. This is slid onto a rod, a heat applied, and it will shrink to the tube. Again, I'll come back to that. And lastly, the bright colour of the pink thread here, or cord, may put you off. But there was an era when, in fact, cord grips on boat rods and on surf rods was quite common. So I'm using the pink to illustrate the thread or cord rather than the colour. However, if you want a high vis grip, why not use pink? Any other colour you can think of in a hard, durable cord is worthwhile using. Put him over there for now. Let's turn our attention now to the black foam. Other colours are available, they're not that common. I've seen reds and greens, but predominantly it's black. It normally comes in preformed shapes. These are little foregrips that you might find on a barbel rod or a carp rod. Another one even slimmer. Here you have the identical front cone or flared end that you might see on a match rod. But if I put them over to the camera, you can actually see they have different diameters internally. Alright, or you might buy or look at the long 12-inch length of flared end black foam. When selecting your foam, what you need to do is know the internal diameter of that tube, which would actually be identical to the narrowest outer diameter of your blank. You can also have preformed foam ready built onto reel seats. Here you have a little size 16 match reel seat where the EVA is a little cone which is pushed onto the foregrip to create the foregrip as you tighten the hood down on the reel. Another one that's very common and preformed is this one. If I just slide this out, you can see the preformed EVA shape there. That matches the cutout on the back of the reel seat, and you just build the rod so it all slides in together. And this one hood comes completely off for when you're building the rod. Once you've got all these parts in place, you would then come along and put this on. You may find that the hole in the front cone is too small. You may find that the bore in the tube of foam, whether it's this big piece or this small end cap, is too small. And what we do, we bring in our faithful reamers, tapered lengths of fiberglass with abrasive tape glued to them. And you would take a corresponding reamer, as these are called, to the size of your blank, slide the grip on, and then by just gently turning, work the inside diameter of the grip to match the diameter of your blank at the position you want the grip. Now some of these reamers come where you can actually put this end piece into a hand drill, and obviously that then makes the process a little quicker. I'm showing by hand to show you where you can start. You can move on to those that fit into an electric drill. When working with either of these type of pre-formed grips on reel seats, please remember that the foam domes at the front are not glued on. They are an extremely tight fit but not glued. So grip the seat firmly and slide the dome off. You need to just coat the inside of this gently with 2-part resin when you're ready, and then just slide it back in place so it's permanently glued in place for when you want to use the rod. And that is part of the build process when using preformed dome in conjunction with the specific type of reel seat you're using. Let's move on to cork now. Historically, cork always comes from Portugal. There are other countries in the world that now cultivate the cork oak tree to supply the demand for cork. The greater percentage of which actually goes into the insulation industry and sound insulation industry, where it is made chipped and made into insulation boarding and tiling for floors, etc. However, we know it as cork rings like this. Traditionally, they either in diameter is anything between an inch and a half. They're normally half an inch thick, and the bore in the centre varies. And it doesn't matter what size cork you purchase in relation to the bore, you can always ream it out with a little bit of care. So first of all was the single cork. Then we started getting what are called shives, which are about 2 inches long, again about 1.1/8, 1.25 in diameter, and bored at around 12 mil. Then you can get long shafts of preformed cork where the cork has been filled and then what we call polished or turned on a lathe to get a nice smooth finish. Again, it has a different bore. Traditionally within fly fishing we have the half whirls grip. You also have the 4 whirls, full whirls, which has a flare at each end, and the ergonomic maniform grip. These are preformed, normally with an 8 mil bore. Most fly rods, the OD on most fly rods is between 8 and 12 mil on the butt section. When you move up to salmon rods, and clearly it's a lot bigger. All you need to do again is return to your reamers, choose one that matches the diameter of your fishing rod, slide the individual cork on and just keep turning very slowly, checking you have a nice even hole, keeping it central, and just ream it out until it fits the diameter of your blank. Lastly, a couple of little add-ons. This is a little cork foregrip identical to those used on carp rods and barbel rods. Then lastly you have the preformed cap. Now this can fit on a fighting butt of a salmon rod. You can adapt it to make a butt on a freshwater rod, or with great care we'll go back to our pre-shaped EVA grip on the reel seat, slide that off, and you can fit the cork onto there. The problem you have is no hole. By taking it off and working with a high-speed drill, you can find the centre through there, and once you have a guide hole, start with your reamers and just gently work the hole bigger to match your particular fishing rod, and there you have a cork dome for your rod.